3, 2, 1. Hello everybody, this is Dom from Upstate Supernatural, and this week on our paranormal stories, we have our guest, Three Girls in the Dark, with a special co-host, Niki ParaUnNormal. If anybody in the chat has any questions or so forth, please jot them down and we'll be happy to ask any questions that you may have. And without further ado, I'd like to welcome our guests, and if you guys could let everybody know who you are and where you guys are from.
My name is Emily, and I am the lead investigator for Three Girls in the Dark.
I am Gina, and I am also one of the lead investigators of Three Girls in the Dark. And today we're 2/3 because our
she's actually a ghost. She is here with us, but she's a ghost.
our Christy is unfortunately really sick today. So.
And you guys are from down south. If you guys would like to explain a little bit about that.
We're actually from St. Louis, Missouri.
Midwest.
So yeah, not technically south. We're in the middle, Midwest.
Well, up in New York State, everything is
southern
enough.
It's definitely south for you.
And what got you guys to be within the paranormal field? What drew you into the field?
Gosh, I've always been interested in weird things my whole life. I mean, I had a normal childhood growing up. You know, I was in sports and I had friends and everything, but I always had that part of me that was weird that I could never show for some reason.
She was a closet weirdo.
I was a closet weirdo. So I've always had an interest in all things weird and paranormal. But I guess what's sparked me to actually move forward with it would be probably the show Most Haunted, I think it was, that I watched a long time ago, and that kind of got me to go. I was the bad kid, and I would go into abandoned houses, and I would bring my little EVP recorders with me, and that was probably like over 10 years ago whenever I was doing that. And then Gina and I went to college together, and we reconnected through Facebook a couple years after graduating. And one day she had posted that she was going on a paranormal tour somewhere, and I was like, you know what, I'm really into that stuff. I was like, dude, we got to go together. Let's hook up. Let's go. And we started doing a lot of the tour, like the hokey things a lot.
Well, around our area, there's a lot of kind of smaller tours that are kind of touristy things to do when you come to St. Louis. Mm-hmm. And we started off by doing those because we didn't really know how to get into the field at that moment, and we were just like, look, we can get into these places for a small amount of money. But once we started realizing there was no way you were going to get any type of evidence on a tour, we started deciding that we were going to do it on our own, and we kind of just put the team together, and it kind of skyrocketed right as soon as we did it. Yeah, we
really
hit the ground running. Yeah. It was the reaction we got to it was pretty
we
crazy.
Got emails like instantly from people in the area that had
because you
homes.
kind of think like who are going to let these strangers in your house overnight,
yeah,
and there were a bunch of them, so
especially when we just started our team, we weren't even like a year old, and these people that were random strangers just were allowing us into our home. Not that we would do anything, but nobody knows, so it was kind of weird that it took off like that. But I mean, we had about 13 cases in our first year. And we're very thankful for that because that got us a lot of good experience that we needed.
For me, I think I've kind of had some experiences since I was a kid. And, I know I'm a normal person. I'm not crazy. So maybe it's debatable, I guess. But, so I had always had, a natural curiosity for it. I was always kind of into it. And when she was talking about shows, I mean, I used to watch Unsolved Mysteries when I was a kid, and I loved it, And they kind of touched on, ghost stories and stuff like that. And then when I was 15, my mom actually took me on my first ghost hunt, and I didn't know that was an actual thing you could do. Mm-hmm. So that really lit a fire under my butt, and I became pretty serious about it. But it's kind of hard to find people who are as serious about it as you are. So
people always want to come along and have it as an entertainment type of thing, but we want to buckle down and be serious, and we want everyone.
We want to do research test equipment and stuff like that. So
more serious to us than it is for a lot of the people that we, communicate with about it too.
I think eventually we were like, okay, let's start our own team and do things the way we want to do them. So
yeah.
Yeah, I used to watch the Unsolved Mysteries as well. I remember actually on a tour boat I was working on, we watched a DVD set of The Ghosts, and we were watching the John Wayne tour boat, and all of a sudden we heard our hatch door just open randomly by itself, and we're like,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But that's where I kind of got stemmed from, was working on the tour boat. A friend of mine had something happen to him and just went from there. But Nikki, did you have any questions?
Yes, I do. So, what would you guys say is the place that you guys have been that has just been off the chain, crazy, awesome?
That's one of my least favorite questions.
I know, because you can't pick one, right?
So hard to answer that question because different things can happen to you at different places. Like one place you might have 10 small things happen that are significant. Or another place you might have one giant thing happen that's significant.
Or you can have a place where nothing happens while you're there, but you come back and review evidence and you've got gobs and gobs of whispers or, like talking. And it's hard to pinpoint which one has the most activity for me, but I could say, like, we could do, like, a favorite place.
Yeah, like overall favorite.
Yeah. I would say overall favorite. I go back and forth with this, too, actually. But I would say right now, my overall favorite is probably the Goldenrod Showboat.
Goldenrod for me, too. Although our last investigation, I had some really weird things happen to me.
Yeah.
And it's probably the most paranormal experiences I've had to date was our last investigation.
Yeah.
So there's that, but overall favorite, I would have to say Goldenrod Showboat.
Yeah. There's so much about the boat that even outside of the paranormal that makes it a great place, but it's also being torn down right now. So it's kind of like heartbreaking that our most, our favorite place is actually going to be no more. Yeah. So we're trying to get in there as often as possible before it's completely gone.
It's an old showboat, and unfortunately was damaged by the floods we just had.
Yeah. Oh, it was pretty far gone before the flood, but I mean, it's like unsafe to even be on it at this point now. So unfortunately they legally have to, they're actually taking pieces from the boat and putting them in a museum. So, maybe we'll investigate a museum later.
Haunted museum.
There you go. Awesome.
No, actually that is a question I kind of have for you is, I know a lot of investigators as they're investigating have found more Civil War, Revolutionary War, Indian apparitions or captures that they've caught. You guys have had some horrendous things happen down towards your area with floods and so forth. Right. Have you found that the activity is a little more of a modern state than the older days?
I wouldn't say that.
We
actually haven't really been too far out of our area to compare. I guess
that's true.
That's one way I would look at it, to compare to other locations, evidence that we've captured. But we've had
a good mix of a little bit of everything at the same time, too.
I will say, okay, so there was this one case that we had out in, what was it, Pocahontas or something like that, and the homeowners claimed that they would see a shadow going outside of the windows in their sunroom. So we set up a camera in the direction of the windows, and we ended up getting what looked like a human with a cell phone on their face in this window, and there was no one on the property. The husband and wife left. I mean,
we tried to recreate it. I went outside with my cell phone and tried to illuminate my face to make the same thing, and it was not the same thing. So it was really strange, whatever it was, but the only way to really describe it is like a light illuminating a face.
It looked like someone's cell phone screen illuminating their face, and it looked like they were taking a picture almost, because it would light up, and then it would light up twice, and then it would be dark, and then it would light up and then light up twice, and it would be dark.
And we're like, great, now we have like a stalker.
Right. But, and so we went back and we tried to recreate it, because we obviously didn't see it as it was happening. We went back and reviewed evidence, and we saw it, and we were like, we got to get back out there. So we went back out there and tried to recreate it, and we got pretty close, but it wasn't close enough for me to accept that it was someone with their cell phone. It was just so odd, and we still haven't been able to explain it. Now, that doesn't mean that it wasn't someone out there, but we were told no one was on the property. We didn't see anyone pull up after they had left. So, and this location had like a mile plus long driveway. So if someone would have came, we would have seen their car, heard their car, seen them outside.
Yeah.
So if this person did show up, they walked a long distance just to take some pictures through the window. I mean, props to them if they did that.
That's a true fan right there.
Yeah. So I would say it was unexplained and it was kind of weird. But if we look at it as, something that was paranormal, they must have had a cell phone in the afterlife. Like maybe they passed away recently and they, it might have been like some type of residual thing, like with the residual hauntings is just them going about their business and like on a record loop. And maybe they were staring at their phone the whole life. And afterlife, they're staring
that's what happens these days. Everyone's got their face in their phone, right? I mean, that's what's our generation hauntings are going to be people like going through buildings and pictures of us like taking selfies. It's like residual selfies.
Oh my God.
There's going to be ghosts with their arms up there. We're like, what are they doing? So that was something that was a little bit more modern in my mind. If we were able to solidify that as being paranormal, that could be a modern type ghost, but we were never able to really figure that one out.
Yeah, I was just curious due to location difference. I mean, I know up here we're finding more stuff from like Civil War Revolutionary style hauntings, and I was kind of curious if it's the same throughout the nation.
I don't think so. We haven't really come across anything that was a solid.
Like Civil War.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a lot of Indian area around here, Indian land.
Native American.
Excuse me.
Emily
is Native American, so excuse me, Emily.
We do have a lot of Native American land in the area, and we do have a lot of people that claim to have seen things like that, but we haven't actually captured on evidence ourselves that type of situation. Mostly it's been voices and noises and things like that. We've never caught anything visual that was really solid yet. And that's kind of like one of our strives too is, it's the Holy Grail. You want to capture full-bodied apparition somewhere. We haven't exactly done that yet, except for, this last investigation.
But we didn't capture it.
No, we did not capture it. But Gina thinks that she might have seen
I saw something very strange.
Something manifest right in front of her face when no one was around her paying attention, to that area. So none of us could back that up either, unfortunately.
And I'll go right back to Niki. You have another question?
I sure do. Isn't that always how it happens, though, ladies? With when you have something happen personally and you have no one around and nothing to capture
it's either when we first show up, when we're taking a break, when we're
munching on snacks, and we're like, that's when things are going down. That's usually.
Well, I'll tell you what happened. We had just actually got to the place and we were waiting on our medium, who we just recently started working with a medium.
Yeah.
So we had not set up yet. We kind of just, talked to the building owners and we're kind of getting settled in. And so I go sit down on a couch and I was actually posting on social media where we were at and what we were doing. And I saw something walk past me and I thought for a split second, man, those girls walked up on me really quietly. Like, how did I not hear them come over to the area of the building I was at? And I look up and nobody was there. And I distinctively remember somebody walking right past me. And then I looked up and I looked into the area of where they were walking to, and there was a wall. And it was definitely a dark,
so it was like a long coat.
Like a long coat. Like a long, trench coat or something. And
or a robe, because we were actually in a church. So,
yeah.
And also the area that the entity had walked through, there wasn't a door or anything there, but in the basement beneath this floor, there's a stairway right there. So at some point, there was a door in that area.
And it actually kind of startled me because I didn't hear anybody walk up on me, so I kind of jumped real quick. When I looked up, I expected to have someone standing there in front of me, and nobody was there. And then I remember being like, ladies?
We were all standing on the other side of the room, which this room is actually really long. It's probably 20 plus feet long. We were standing far on the other end and we're talking and stuff. And Gina's like,
I'm like,
hey. We're like, what's going on over there?
Anybody see that? You do the classic, did you see that? I just saw something. So it was really strange. And unfortunately, we didn't have anything rolling. We were just getting set up. Yeah. But it did freak me out. It kind of freaked me out because it's the first time I've actually seen something that close to me that was that distinctive that I know something walked in front of me.
Well, and I just had that experience okay, so we were at a house on the hill. There's an Italian neighborhood, a well-established Italian neighborhood in the city of St. Louis, and we got to investigate this residence. And in the basement, they get a lot of creepy feelings, which, yeah, it's a basement. But there was also this little tiny room under the stairs that they always got this creepy feeling in. And there was also a windmill in there that had gone off a couple times. It was like a music box windmill. And it had gone off a couple times on its own. So, Gina and I were in there investigating alone, and it's really tight and cramped. And so I was standing in front of the bottom of the stairs, and she was behind me, and I saw something on the side, like, of my face in this area, and I don't know what it was, and to this day I still cannot explain it, but the best I can explain was it looked like something in the air, like almost underwater, like waving like this out of the corner of my eye, and I kind of went.
You kind of thought it was hair at first.
At first I had my hair pulled back, and it looked like long strands of hair, but they were like in motion, like waving, and they looked like they were underwater. So I did this, and then it was still there, and I looked, and I was like, and it was great. I was like, what was that? Did you see that? And she's of course on this side of me, so she didn't see anything. And she's like, what was that? I was like, I don't know, hold on. I was like, I gotta think about this.
She very rarely freaks out about stuff, so I knew that it was something pretty significant. And it's funny because we were actually testing out our Periscope account for the first time, and I caught her reaction on Periscope. So it was great. Like, I'm trying to figure out Periscope, and then Emily starts freaking out because she never freaks out. Yeah. So it was a good moment.
When she was talking to me, I'm like, hold on, just let's be quiet for a minute. I gotta like process what I just saw. I don't even know what that was, and like I said, to this day, I really don't know what it was. I can't say that it was a spirit manifesting, but it definitely wasn't. I mean, it wasn't a hair on the side of my face. It wasn't like, and I'm the one that's going to go straight to that area and try to recreate it. And there was, I couldn't.
Emily's our skeptic. She's our.
I noticed, and I appreciate that. Every group needs one, and I think everyone needs to have a skeptical point of view. Now, with that skeptical point of view, and with other points of view, have you guys ever had a situation that made you feel so uncomfortable that you had to leave?
Not yet. I kind of really like those situations.
Me too. Like, so that's why I asked.
I want to.
We actually like to push our boundaries in like what we fear, and I'm actually. I don't like saying this, but I'm kind of afraid of the dark, and not because of spirits, but I don't know what's lurking in the darkness. If I can't see anything, bugs, bums, you never know what's in there.
Splatters.
So I personally really don't like to be like unarmed in pitch black. So in a couple of the cases, I have been placed in a room in the dark by myself, and I've faced my fears. And it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, but I have been trying to push those boundaries. And I think, everybody on the team has a couple fears that we've been trying to push. So I don't think there's ever really been a situation where we have freaked out, and we have a safe word. So we have a safe word. So if there is ever a moment where one of us is in a situation where we want to get out of, we're going to scream that safe word. But we haven't come across that yet.
And, it's funny because there's, people who are not into the paranormal will look at the situations we have been in and be like, you guys weren't scared of that? Like, that would have been it for me, you know? But it's like, I think when you're kind of hungry for those experiences and trying to research and get answers, you want to go towards that creepy.
Yeah.
We need to investigate together.
We definitely do.
Let's do it.
Yes. Tom?
Yeah. It's actually funny because Nikki and myself and another friend, we actually have like a dead word. If we pass away, this is the word that we say to let you know that we're communicating.
This is it. This is us. That's good.
I actually have a dead word with my husband, but I haven't given the team a dead word yet, so we might have to make one of those.
I mean, really, our safe word should also be our dead word.
It should be.
If we're like reviewing EVPs and that word comes across.
Well, now that we've told everybody, then that we can.
We didn't tell them what it was. We didn't say the safe word.
But if we say the safe word during the investigation, then it's going to have to be two different words.
Now, I'm kind of curious. You guys put your evidence out on YouTube or on your website and so forth. How can people see the things that you have captured, see the all the different footage that you have that's out there?
Well, we do have, like you said, we have it on YouTube, and we also have it on our website. Our website has an evidence page where you could just scroll all through the cases that we've gone through. Unfortunately, some of the cases don't make it up there. If we don't find anything significant, we don't put it up. Like if you hear like small whispers or something that you can't amplify, I don't think it's worth it at that point. For me, if you can barely hear something and you had to like circle something really big, I'd rather it be like a dramatically in your face piece of evidence.
We're probably one of the teams that throw out the most evidence ever, because we'll hear stuff and we're like, that's kind of cool, and I agree with you.
I'm the asshole of the team, and everyone gets mad because they try to present something to me that they have found in the evidence.
She's like, no.
And I'm like, nope, not going to use that. That's bad. So
and I
get to be the jerk.
Because I feel like if I'm going to go to someone else's team and check out what they've done and listen to something, I want to be impressed. So I'm going to do the same for our website. Like, we don't want to put anything out there where someone's like, well,
our motto is when in doubt, throw it out. And so if there's a slight doubt that what we're hearing is not paranormal, or it's not great enough, or loud enough, we throw it out.
Now, you guys, when you do your filming for your investigations, you kind of do it like it's almost like a documentary. I mean, I've seen it somewhat, and I really feel that that's a great way to do it. Like, it's definitely a way that a lot of teams should try to focus with it. What kind of stemmed you into doing that?
I think one of the things that we like is a backstory.
Yeah, we like the story involved in it. It's nice, like you said, to see like the evidence presented. But
like, why is that evidence important?
Right. Or who could it possibly be? Like if you have the information of who's passed away there, we'd like to know who that is, what they look like, if you have, pictures of them.
Right.
Or what they did at the location. A story is just as interesting as the evidence.
Right.
I think the way we look at it. So, and it's really hard to put these things together. I did the last 2 or 3 myself on iMovie, so it took forever, but I was actually really happy with the way that they turned out, and a lot of people, said that they were really good. So, we definitely want to keep doing them, but, just like I said before, if
we don't get enough to make a mini doc, we don't make one. Yeah, we'll just add what we did.
If we found like 1 or 2 pieces of evidence, that's not enough to make a mini doc. So, we'll just plop those up on our website or on YouTube. But if we get like 5 or 6 really significant things, then, we'll try to put something together really quick.
And Nikki, did you have another question?
I sure did. Now, you guys have a plethora of locations at your back door, and I know you guys told us about the showboat. Are there any other locations close to you? Because I know there's one in particular that I am dying to go to. And are there any that are close to you that you've been to that you think are just pretty okay, pretty active? Or
Well, okay, so there's, depends on how close you think is close. Because we've actually gone at least an hour and a half, away, or maybe even 2 hours.
We've gone 4 hours outside.
Yeah, outside of our location. But something that's like really close to us, gosh.
Where were we at last weekend?
The church.
Yeah,
well,
okay,
so Alton, which...
Yeah, we're 20 minutes outside of Alton, which I refer to as like Vegas of the paranormal.
Because
you can tell from location to location. It's all haunted,
Yeah. Have you guys ever heard of Alton, Illinois?
No.
No?
Okay, but I need to.
It's a
You really should check it out. I mean, it's all built out of limestone. It's by 2 rivers that come together.
Yeah.
The limestone was actually put in
part of a prison. Well, it was part of a prison in the late 1700s, early 1800s, and then when they tore the prison down, they used the stone and the bricks from the prison to build houses with.
So the whole city up with. So all that
the whole city is haunted.
Energy is into these houses.
Yeah.
So,
and then, like you said, it's by the water. Water has, pertains to paranormal, and the limestone itself, even if it wasn't part of a prison, already has, energy with it.
We were at a church, it was last weekend or 2 weekends ago?
It was 2 weekends ago.
It was a really neat location. I've investigated, without my team, actually prior to getting on the team, I investigated Limp Mansion, which is right by us. You have Mopin, which is that where you wanted to go?
Yes, I want to go there so bad.
We have Limp Mansion.
Well, we actually haven't investigated Limp Mansion as a team.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But separately, I've been there and she's been there. But we do actually want to get in there and shut the whole place down and actually investigate. So when you come into the area, you can investigate with us.
Okay, let's make plans for this, ladies, because I have got to go there.
So
looks awesome. So
it's
very cool.
There's a
we
lot
go there a lot actually.
There's
just
a lot of
hang out at the
history
bar.
there, and we have our meetings there sometimes.
Yeah,
but
we're really good friends with the bartenders there. And not that we're alcoholics, but when we go and we want to have a few drinks during our meeting, we go to the Let Mansion
that's
bar.
the place to go.
And they will sit around and share stories and drink with us, during our meetings. So
It's a
we
neat
love
place.
that place.
Yeah.
But technically, our team as a whole has not been there to investigate yet.
Awesome. Very cool.
Now, what are your future ideas or plans for what you guys are trying to strive for and so forth?
I have 100 things I would like to
I
be
was just
doing.
gonna say,
it's so,
which direction can we go with that? Because there's a lot
I'd
of
like
stuff going
to
on.
sort of look into some new equipment,
Mhm.
maybe building customized equipment if we can
Yeah.
find someone who wants to jump on board with that.
Right.
There's definitely places on our bucket list we want to get into. I think we're going to try and do more bucket list items this year versus
Well, we do
residential.
want to get some bucket lists, but we also want to find the hidden gems as
Yeah.
well. Like it's not that we prefer to be a place that no one has been to, but it's a lot more exciting and new when you walk into a location that no one has touched.
I think
So-
there's a lot to do, though. I mean, I kind of feel like a place that has been investigated 100 times over. If you believe, that spirits are real, I think there's kind of an element of surprise. Like, if you're in a place that hasn't been investigated before, they don't know you're coming in with this stuff, and you might actually be able to catch more evidence versus something that's been investigated multiple times.
Or a location that has hundreds of people in and out on a daily
Right.
basis. Not to say that they would be scaring the spirits away, but they might be
Become
like-
used to it.
right, like numb to the situation and might not react to something that we would think that they would react to or manifest in a way.
Catch them off guard.
Yeah. So for me, I personally would like to find some more hidden gems in our area. I do like the bucket list locations,
Mhm.
but
We have a
I
bucket
kind of
list.
want to stick around in our area too, though, because like there's so many places that we haven't been in the St. Louis area
Mhm.
that I feel like we should have been there because we're from the area. So I think there's a lot of local places that I want to hit in the next year. So that's one of my plans.
We have a bucket list Saturday.
Yeah, we're
Sure.
going to the Velisca Axe Murder
Well, we have
House.
Velisca on Saturday, which I'm
Ah.
way excited about. I'm very, very excited about Saturday.
Not this Saturday, next Saturday.
yes.
You might
Oh my
be going
goodness.
Saturday. I don't know.
Maybe I'll end up there this Saturday. I don't know.
That one
That's
we're
awesome.
about, which I mean, obviously, a lot of people have been in and out of there, but it's also not like a location that is on a daily basis, like the Let Mansion. There's people there every day of the week, 24/7. So like this location, nobody actually lives there. Like they lock you in and it's done. There's no other people there, so I'm excited about that for sure.
And you were talking about equipment. What type of equipment do you guys prefer to use? What type of stuff are you using right now compared to the stuff you would like to try to utilize?
Okay, so my favorite piece of equipment right now is our EVP recorder, just because that thing just never
It's
lets us
classic.
down. It never lets you down.
Yeah.
It usually has the best pieces of evidence in my mind. But I also like the REM pod. We have a REM pod. We have a couple
We're
of K2s.
We just got the MF1, and
Yeah.
we've been testing that out. I mean, we haven't had it long enough to know how well we feel about it, but
Yeah.
so far it's done pretty well. We've been testing that one out.
Yeah. We got the Boo Bear, and the Boo Bear actually surprised us. We had
Yeah,
the
that's
last
fun.
investigation, we didn't have any activity with the Boo Bear, but the one prior to that, we had the Boo Bear go off a couple times, so that was pretty nice.
And
We
we have, of course, all your classic. We got
Right.
the night vision cameras. We have a laser grid. We have
we got the
REM
dowsing
pod.
rods.
Dowsing rods.
We don't even use those. We never break them out.
The dowsing rods, I feel like, are just inner case for like nostalgic purposes.
Yeah.
Like they're the dowsing rods I had when I was 15, and I feel
Yeah.
like they should just stay in there.
They just
Don't forget where you came from.
They're the
okay?
golden dowsing rods. They don't need to be unlocked. But there's a piece of equipment that I would love to get my hands on, but unfortunately, as we all know, it all comes out of pocket.
For us, it comes
So,
out of pocket.
yeah. I would like to get the FLIR.
Yeah, that's.
I would like to get a FLIR camera, and I know that those are like $1,500 and more, even for a used one. So we're putting that one off for a little bit. Maybe one day. A girl can wish, a girl can dream.
I have some ideas for equipment that I'd like to. We're gonna discuss with some people. I don't want to put them out there yet, but I have ideas on it's just crazy ideas that I want to test out and try, but I don't want to give them away just yet. So I'm hoping in the next year we can kind of partner with someone to make some of this stuff happen and kind of test it out.
I would also like to try the Kinect. I think that would be an interesting piece of equipment to try. Of course, we haven't come across one yet, and I hear that they're actually really hard to make. So that's another piece of equipment that I would like to get my hands on that we don't have yet.
An affordable alternative to the FLIR is actually you can utilize it on an iPhone or on an Android phone. Is the Seek Thermal, and it's about $200 roughly. Yeah. Which I have used it. I actually use it on Spirit Box Weekly, the show that I do every week.
So it's reliable, then. It's a reliable.
I have a friend in Michigan that actually he has the FLIR. He spent $2,000 on the thing, and he also bought the Seek and has compared them and said that the Seek, because it's a newer technology, is better resolution than the FLIR. So
wow.
Well, it's good to know.
Yeah.
I mean,
we have this little safe that we call the pot money, and so everybody has to contribute. Where's your pot money tonight? When we have our meeting, we meet once a week, so everybody has to put their money in the pot, and we might have to fork out a couple $100 for that the FLIR phone.
That's better than 2,000. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Black Friday I think it was actually 187 because I was looking around.
Shit.
I was telling
Try
Nikki
tomorrow,
about
Cyber Monday.
Oh yeah,
that's right, Cyber Monday. You're right.
Yeah, it was on Amazon for 187. Nikki, did you have another question?
Yes, I do. I'm full of questions. I always have questions.
Go for it.
Now, what is the most compelling piece of evidence you've ever gotten?
Oh man,
I know.
We have an EVP that, and maybe this speaking for myself, my personal favorite is we have an EVP that was caught in a house, and in this house, the homeowner was talking about how they would see a green mist in the hallway.
Oh, that's not the one I was going to say. Go ahead.
And well, I have two actually.
Yeah.
Man. So one of the claims was he saw a green mist in the hallway, and while we were investigating that night, we got an EVP that says, and it's clear, it's really clear, it says the fog consumes me, and it was taken at the door to the hallway.
Yeah, and it's funny because when we were investigating that night, we went back and started listening to some of the EVPs before we left, and I'm holding it up to my ear. And as soon as I heard it, because it's like a whispery, breathy voice, and it said, "This fog consumes me." I threw the recorder across the room.
Yeah, it was like awesome. I almost wish we would have recorded her reaction to it along with the EVP. It would have been great.
Yeah, that was a pretty good piece of evidence. But I would say, I think the one that I prefer is we had a little child's voice come through, and it says a whole sentence. Usually you get like a couple words here and there, and we have never gotten a whole sentence from a spirit, let alone a child. And so there's this place called the Castle House, and it's in Brumley, Missouri. And these people are amazing. It's becoming
a hosts.
Yeah, it's a bed and breakfast, and they're trying to fix it up. But it's of course a little It's a little run down, but they're slowly fixing up, and it's I don't know. It's just the epitome of what you expect, like an old bed and breakfast to be. It's very creepy looking.
You pull up and you're like, yes.
Yeah, it's got a turret.
This is where I want to be.
It's got a turret in the front, and there's a woman that's been seen in that room, like a woman at the top of the stairs. So Gina was on the stairway, and she was doing an EVP session, and she's talking. And when we went back and reviewed, there's a child that actually says, "It's not my mommy," or "That's not my mommy," like a full sentence, and we were like, holy shit.
It's something my mom.
My mommy.
I kind of thought it said, "Are you my mommy?" And
see, I don't hear that. I hear
well, it's on our side.
My mom. Yeah,
it's on our side if you want to listen
whenever
to
you listen to it, we have it blanked where we don't put words in your head before you hear it.
Yeah,
and
we don't want to
do that. And then we say, this is what we think it says, because we don't want to influence what you're hearing. But I think that's one of my favorite pieces of evidence.
Awesome.
And I did have a question in the chat as well, which was, do you guys prefer to investigate indoors or outdoors?
Depends on the weather.
Depends on the location.
Yeah.
I I would say maybe.
I like indoors because I think outdoor for me, I'm just worried about all the contamination. Animals,
Outdoor
cars, just any type of noises going on around you is hard to determine, if something's paranormal or not. I think inside you can kind of isolate the situation, and it's a lot easier to pinpoint what you're hearing and, determine whether or not that's paranormal.
And for most of your cases, how much information do you try to find out about the location before you investigate it, or do you try to go in there without having the history just to see what happens and then go back to the history?
We definitely like to research the property prior to going in. But she said earlier we're working with a medium now, and we don't tell her anything. She doesn't know anything prior to going into the location. We've been working with her for a couple months.
She really doesn't even know the location.
No,
until
she meets up with us and then rides along with us or follows us, and then when she gets there is when she sees or knows where she is. And but usually, like prior to her coming on, we have Jeff, who's our research specialist and EVP specialist, and he's base camp bitch as well.
He's our base camp bitch. He's our lone wolf, the only guy on our crew.
Yeah. So he is the one that usually does the research for us, and he'll call all the historical societies and the libraries and everything, and we just try to get as much as we can. If we can find out any of the previous owners, any of the type of businesses the building was prior to what it is now, if they had any fires, any type of information he can grab, we want to know. Just, like if a building had a fire and someone died, then we want to talk about the fire when we go and investigate. It's helpful to know the history of the building when you're going in, so you can try to address those people or those situations when you walk in, and maybe they'll, be more likely to respond to something like that.
I think it's also, I prefer to have the research up front before we go in, because then you can kind of use that as communication purposes once you're in there, instead of kind of going in blindly. If you're trying to trigger something, you can have a conversation that actually pertains to the location, which might help get a response versus just, your random questions. I think we tried to do something more than just, is somebody here with us? Like, we want to get something in detail to help kind of push along some activity.
And I actually asked this with the interview of the Ghost Hunter series, which you guys are ghost hunters, so I'd like to ask it, is what is your theory of why or how ghosts exist? I like to ask that for every ghost hunter that I talk with.
You want to go first?
Well, it's really hard for me because I'm still on the fence about a lot of things.
Well, first off, let me just tell you, the dynamic of our team, we have three completely different views, which is awesome because I feel like we push each other to see new things. But yeah, her idea and my idea are going to be completely different. But go ahead.
Well, okay, not necessarily, because like I said, I'm on the fence. I'm still kind of, I kind of like go on either side of the line a couple times. Sometimes, I'll be like, I don't really think that they exist anymore, and I'll be like really pissed off. I'm like, what? And then sometimes I'm like, okay, well, that is really interesting, and I don't know how to explain that. So, personally, I think that if energy does exist, I think that it's energy, and it's not it's like a soul, I guess you could say, like when your soul leaves the body. But I don't really know why they stick around or why they wouldn't stick around. I don't really know. I haven't gotten those kind of answers yet. Obviously, nobody really has, but everybody has their theories. But a lot of people say, if you had work to do still, that's why you stick around. But I don't know if I believe that. And then some people say that if you have mental disabilities, that's why you stick around. And I don't know if I believe that either. So I don't really know exactly what I believe, but I do think that there is something that we just haven't figured out yet. It might even be aliens, for all we know. Nobody knows.
Emily's like all
I'm literally everywhere.
She's like, it could be this. It could be this. It could be this.
Yeah, I can't really put my finger on exactly what I think it is. That's why I'm in this field. That's the answer I want to find out, and that's why I'm here. I just haven't found that answer yet.
For me, well, mine's not too far off from hers. I guess I can't really tell you like the how or why, but what I think is possible is that it's something that we just don't understand yet. I do believe in energy. I think it's type or form of energy we just haven't explored yet or have answers to. But I do believe that there can be something such as a soul energy, where maybe that's where the intelligent spirits, if that's what you want to call them, come from. I think it's possible to maybe that it wasn't human at one time and it's something else. But I think it all comes down to the fact that we haven't explored enough to find answers on what it is. But if you want to call it a ghost, you know, when you say ghost, like, I don't think of like the white sheet, like, ooh, like, oh my gosh, it's a ghost. I think it's just some type of energy that we haven't figured out what it is and how it exists. But there's probably a formula behind it.
Yeah. Some scientific type of formula that we just haven't discovered yet.
And what about spirit boxes or Ouija boards? Like, what do you guys think of those?
The
Do you
Ouija
think they're
board doesn't
useful?
bother me,
No,
only
it
because
doesn't.
what's the difference between contacting something through
Yeah.
the Ouija board versus all this thousands of dollars worth of equipment we
Right.
just bought?
It's
still
the exact same thing.
inviting it in and telling it to talk to us. And
However, the ancient Ouija board might have been completely different than what we have today. You know, something that was like not blessed, but you know.
the Parker Brothers Parker
Yeah.
trick doesn't
No,
bother me
that's
to
totally
use it,
different. You know,
You're talking about spirit boards
like
that have
spirit-
been blessed by shamans.
that's
and
different. That
those
might
are
be a little different, but yeah, like she said, like our team doesn't really care about the Ouija boards. You know, like she said, it's basically the same thing as communicating through an EVP recorder. Or
If you're
a
inviting
REM pod.
something in to come talk to you and
Yeah.
interact with you, you're inviting something in
Yeah.
to come talk to you and interact with you.
You can even be sitting in a room with no equipment and invite something in, and it'll come in. So it's neither here nor there to us.
But
I
the
guess.
spirit, how do you feel about the spirit box?
Gosh.
We kind of have a love-hate with that.
Well, wait. Okay, so what do you consider the spirit box? Because when we talk to different people, some people consider the spirit box to be the Ovilus, and some people
Or the
think that it's
SB
the SB 7 or 11. So for me, the spirit box is the SB 7 or the SB 11.
Right, I would say.
What you're asking about?
I would say like a Frank's box or the PSB 7 or PSB 11.
Okay. We've had some pretty good success with the SB7. Now, we just recently got the 11. I think it's been about a year ago we got it, but we've only used it on a couple of locations, and we haven't gotten anything with it yet. 0. Now, does that mean that what we did catch with the SB7 was paranormal or was not? I don't know. But I liked the SB7. You know, we got a couple of interesting things with that one, and we have them on our website. But since we've gotten the 11, we haven't had anything yet.
And what's your opinion with investigating within your own home? I mean, you're going through the footage, probably where you guys live. Do you feel it's a good thing to investigate where you live, or it's better to not
I
dabble?
don't think it's a bad thing to do it. I mean, if something follows you home, I would definitely try to communicate with that thing. If you don't want it there, you're going to need to get it removed somehow. Or if you're welcoming it there, you can try to get answers in your own home while you're on your downtime. Why not?
I mean, it all depends on how comfortable you are with it. I mean, and also two of the girls on our team, our case manager and Christy, our third, they've
had things follow them home all the time.
Oh, our case manager has had some crazy stuff
Yeah.
follow her home. But
And she
they
just ends up doing a cleansing in her home, and then
yeah,
it's
they do
gone.
cleansing. So if anyone requests a cleansing from us, we can do that too.
Yeah.
So we have them for that. But like I said, I think it goes back to how comfortable you are and what your home situation is. I mean, if you have kids in your home, that might be a little bit different for some
Yeah.
people, and for some people maybe not, because maybe you want to get them comfortable with that type of situation.
Some people raise their children in that type of field, and they're not afraid of it, and then some people don't. So, but I don't think that it matters. To me, if something follows you home, it's going to do what it wants to do there. So whether you communicate with it or not, I don't think you're going to mess up your situation if you try to communicate with it, because it obviously followed you home for a reason. You know, it's not going to follow you home and then just be quiet for the rest of your life. It's there for a reason. It wants to talk to you, so you might as well communicate with it. But with me, I've never actually had anything follow me home. I really don't have things happen at my house. But
she's also like closed off.
Yeah.
She's our one that's
well,
closed off.
let me just explain my theory of our team. So we have 3 different dynamics, obviously. Me, I'm the skeptical one, but I don't feel, see, or hear things ever. I never get like that emotion or So I consider myself like a padlocked door. I have like deadbolt, I have your chain lock, I have your chair under the door handle. I've got all of these locks going on.
She's like, no.
Nothing gets in, nothing comes out, zero happens. Gina is like on the fence with her openness. I would call her like a flapping screen door. So like
that's what she refers to me as.
she's got the flapping screen
Sometimes
door.
I'm yes, sometimes I'm no.
Sometimes something
sometimes I'm
might
like,
fly
yeah.
that door open and it's slides in, and then sometimes she's got it closed off and nothing gets in. And then we got Christy, who is just a cavernous tunnel where all these spirits just have like a masquerade ball inside of her
She's an
body.
empath, and
So-
everything is just happening to her.
So we got closed off, we got an in between, and then we got a completely open.
And then we have our case manager, who
Shauna is completely open too. I would consider her like a subway station. Like she's just got.
She has the most things follow her home. She's like the least involved with the investigations, yet she has
the most
everything happen to her. So,
but then like I was saying, like since I don't really have a lot of things happen to me, I really don't think that spirits attach to me, and I don't think they follow me home. I don't have experiences at my house.
well, another thing is like you can't be too surprised when it happens. If you're involved in this field, if you're involved in this seriously and really doing things,
you kind of
and then you go home
that.
and you're like, why is something in my house? It's like, hello, like if you're involved, you have
to be prepared, and you have to accept the fact that it's going to happen one day.
Things can happen.
And that's a question that we actually get a lot from people outside of the field. They're always like, aren't you afraid that someone's going to follow you home? And I was like, not really. And they're like, what? You're weird. I'm like, no, I might be weird, but I'm just not really afraid of something following me home. I welcome it if it happens, but I haven't had it happen yet.
I'm going to say one word, and I think you guys will get the gist of it. Demons. What do you guys think on that?
Okay, so
this is where Emily
this is where
we have to push Emily a little bit on this one, because this is her uncomfortable zone.
And it's not that I believe in demons, because I'm not religious in any way whatsoever anymore. However, I was raised Catholic, like strict Catholic. And so I was raised to be very fearful of a lot of things. So that's still kind of like in the back of my head my whole life, I guess you could say. It will always be back there just because it was a big part of my life growing up. But today I'm agnostic, so I believe in good and evil energy. I definitely believe that there's evil and bad energy, and I believe that there's good. But I don't really know if I believe in the devil and demons at that point. But when it comes up in a situation, I'm always like, oh, okay. maybe I won't.
She's like,
go.
Gina, you can go into that room.
Yeah.
I'll stay back at base camp.
There's always that little percentage in the back of my head that's like, okay, it could be real, and you might be
what if
messing with
I'm
something
wrong?
like that.
Yeah. I think it's a possibility. I also think, though, before, you can go into a haunted location where people are getting picked on or bad things are happening, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's a demon. I mean, you have
people that are assholes in life.
You have assholes in death.
life.
So it's like, it doesn't mean that it's necessarily a demon. Like, maybe he's just a jerk and he's screwing with you.
And I don't really think that scratches mean that they're a demon either. I think that they're, like we said, if there is an asshole in life, they're going to be an asshole in death. And if they can scratch you, they're going to scratch you.
And there's going to be some situations where I also think that these things, if you believe that they're spirits and they're intelligent, kind of want to beef up what they are, maybe, and like scare, like, leave me alone. I don't want to be messed with.
Portray themselves as something a lot more malevolent than they really
actually are. Coming across a situation where you are actually dealing with a demon is rare, which is we're dealing with paranormal to begin with, which is rare. But I don't shy away from it. Emily's a little bit more uncomfortable with it. Christy
I will deal with it, but there's a small hesitation, a very small hesitation. But I've been learning to just kind of like ignore that and just.
I think if you have a strong mind, that's what's most important. Yeah. And I think if you have the smallest bit of fear, then it will know that and will feed off of it. So yeah.
Well, as of late, a lot of teams are using that terminology, and that's why I wanted to ask that, because it's tough, because I mean, a lot of people will say there's not a lot of places that actually are demonic hauntings, and
I think it's definitely a possibility. But that's my own belief system. But actually having it happen and getting proof of that's what it is a different story, I think.
Yeah. I just, like I said before, like I'm agnostic, so I don't necessarily like to label things as demons and angels and things like that. So if
But she's a little unsure.
there's that 1% in the back of my head that's the priest, like like there's demons, there's God, there's Jesus, all that stuff. But for the most part, I don't really believe in a lot of that stuff. So for me, if someone labels a location a demonic haunting, I'm just like,
I like to go,
it's
really?
just evil
Oh,
energy.
really? Let's go see.
Yeah, let's go see for
ourselves.
ourselves. I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of up in the air really when it comes to that, I think.
I was actually a couple months ago, I was told by a psychic, actually a pretty well-renowned one, that the scratches and stuff on our arms, when that happens, it's not so much them trying to harm us, but them just trying to touch us. Like people getting a mark on their arm is more or less them just, you're telling them to touch you. Their energy, in being that their energy, it's like a energy burn.
I was going to say earlier, whenever we were talking about the scratches, that, how do you know that that's not a child scratching you? I mean, I come around kids all the time that are scratching and biting. So why couldn't it be a child in the afterlife scratching you? Being a little asshole.
Or a cat. Maybe it's
or
a ghost cat.
Yeah. We kind of came across some things. Like at the house on the hill, I could have swore that I saw a cat under the table, like out of my peripheral, and there were no cats in the house. She did not own any cats. They had 2 dogs. So later on in the night, we had our Ovilus going, which we have a love-hate relationship with that thing as well. Mm-hmm. But we had the Ovilus going. We just kind of turned it on for entertainment purposes, I think. And it said kitty. And we've actually never heard it say kitty before. And I was like, well,
that's weird.
I was like, that's kind of weird because I thought I saw a cat earlier. Do you remember that? And Gina was like, yeah. And as soon as I said that, we heard a cat meow in the room. And there are no cats in there. And the dogs were gone out of the house. So we were like, okay, there's a cat. There's a ghost cat in here.
Ghost cat.
We just had 3 things happen. And they were like trying to let us know it was a cat. So yeah, we were like, it's got to be a ghost cat.
And Nikki, did you have another question as well?
I do, actually. Now, when you guys are reviewing your evidence, how do you guys go about it? With your teammates, do you do it all together? Is there one person who does a certain thing, or how's it go?
I'm boss, and I dictate everything, basically.
She is our boss.
I have all the files. I have everybody's to-do lists of what they need to do, so I get them all on the hard drive, and I separate them all out evenly so no one's doing more than the other person, because we get complaints sometimes that someone gets more minutes than someone else. So I got to try to make sure everybody gets an even amount of review time, and I disperse them out through this website called Dropbox. It's just a file sharing website, and everybody has it on their own computer. They do it on their own time. And then we
usually have a date that needs to be done.
Yeah, I usually do like a 2-week tops date, because we try to get things back to our clients in a timely manner.
As we can, yeah.
Especially if it's a residential property. But if it's like a bucket list, we kind of put it on the back burner because it's not as important. But
so that next meeting, because we always meet on Tuesdays. So the Tuesday that it's due on, we'll have a meeting and we kind of present everything we found.
And we'll sit down in my basement, and I'll put on the TV what we're reviewing, or what we'll put it on a speaker, and I'll be like, nope, that's not good, and I just write everything off basically. Yeah, I say none of this is good, and then I just decide moving on.
And what if you could let everybody know where they could find you, how to contact you, if they're interested in finding out more about you.
Yeah, you can find us on, obviously, our website, which is 3 Girls in the Dark, and you have to use the number 3, not the word. You can find us on
every
Facebook,
social media,
all the social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. We have our YouTube channel. We have a Vimeo. We have a Vine. We have a Periscope
now. We have a Pinterest.
We've got Pinterest. We have it all. You can find us pretty much anywhere. If you Google 3 Girls in the Dark, you'll find all of the accounts.
If you go to our website, though, the links to each one of those are on there.
Yeah, we do have our social media links on the website.
And you can send us an email, or you can message us on Facebook, or any of those, really.
Yeah.
And Nikki, did you have any other? So
I just want to say thank you, and I got to join you guys sometime on an investigation. I got to meet you guys at Scarefest.
Yeah, come out.
We gotta
together.
We have to. That would definitely be a great time, and I have to say, see eye to eye on all that stuff. So that's really refreshing, because I hear I hear a lot of things in the field, and I like the way you ladies think. So thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
And I'd like to thank everybody that tuned in and viewed. And again, I'll have all the links in the description below. So if you'd like to find their YouTube or find a link to their website and so forth to check out more information about Three Girls in the Dark, you'll be able to do that right in the description below this video. And thank you, everybody. And everybody have a great weekend. Hopefully you had a beautiful Thanksgiving last Thursday. And I will catch you later.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.